Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, following this truth from the well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000, the rest of the 1/3, the large multitude. Unto you I say Shalom. Coming to you back with another lesson through the Spirit, and I'm going to entitle this one, Esau will deceive majority of the world to take the motb, because ultimately we know that this devil that the Bible speaks about is really going into Esau, Edom, the twin brother of Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel. That he's really the devil that the Bible speaks of, because that word devil, that really means deceiver, and who has gone out throughout the whole earth and deceived the whole nations to believe that he's really the Israelites, the people down there in the Holy Land, the small hats, which are really the Amalekites, Amalek, one of the descendants of Esau. And now that he's gotten control of the whole world through the blessing that was given unto him by Isaac, now that he has control of the whole world, control of the resources, control of military, control of the water, the food, the monetary system, that's not enough. Ultimately, he wants control of the people. He wants them enslaved in this new digital system is going to be paved by the motb, which is the microchip, and he's going to usher in this new system by collapsing this current system based off cash, because over the years cash been just slowly fading away. That's why all these stores now they accept debit cards and Apple Pay, Google Pay, whatever it may be, ultimately to get people ready for the motb system. That's why all these different stores, grocery stores, retail stores, malls, now they have that palm, you got to wave your hand to pay. All these different businesses, now they don't take cash. These different services, paying your bills, your phone bill, electrical bill. Now you just got to put your debit card and credit card system in there. Compared to back in the day, you used to have to go up there and pay with cash. Now everything's electronic. Now you got these smartphones that everybody's addicted to. And ultimately, what this devil was doing this whole time, he was prepping majority of the world to get ready for this motb system. Because majority of the world now, they can't do without the phone. Even us, we have to use the phone for certain tasks and things, throughout our day. But ultimately, these people can't go a day without their phone, because these phones, they're addictive. Ultimately, because it's witchcraft. That's why it's a screen, a black screen, a mirror. Now you got AI, ramping up. Ultimately, what this is all leading to is to get people prepped to when this devil crashes the system and brings in that solution, the motb. Majority of the people are going to take it because they're not going to know any better. And even those who know not to take it, ultimately Yahweh is not going to put the spirit on them to not take it, because only the nation of Israel that don't take it, that are part of the elect, are going to be delivered. The rest of the nation of Israel, even if they don't take it and they're not part of the elect, they're still going to either get put to death by all these different plagues or be reserved for the missiles. Because these heathen nations, these so-called white people, so-called Chinese, Indians, whatever it may be, they don't matter. Even if they don't take it, ultimately, if they're not Israelite elect of the nation of Israel, part of the 1/3, then it don't matter if they don't take it, because ultimately here in America, this is where that great destruction is prophesied to take place. But only the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, the elect, will be delivered, starting with the 144,000 in that large multitude. the rest of the people here in America, the 2/3 of the nation of Israel that are going to bow down to Esau, Edom, bow down to Baal, bow down and take the deceive, they're going to be destroyed. But also all these heathens that are left here in America, they're going to be burned up as well. That's why us are the hopeful elect. We're constantly on our watch, watching out for this devil's next move, watching out for what he's doing. You got World War III ramping up, but we know that it's not going to go fully nuclear. It's not going to go full on until this devil collapses the system and brings in the motb. We know that the motb has to be made mandatory before World War III finally goes full force. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And that's right. Ultimately, this devil, Esau, Edom, the spiritual or the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, which is a so-called white man, he's not going to get an advantage over the elect, because ultimately Yahweh Shemiah Shah put it upon the spirit, the elect, to receive the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of what to watch out for, of what to look for, to watch out for the prophecies, to know the proper breakdown of the motb, and to know to not take it. Because you got all these other Israelite camps, you got these Christian churches, these Roman Catholic churches, not truly breaking down what Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16 is about. They're just telling them that it's spiritual, that the motb already passed, that it was the social security number, that it's white women and embargo, the image of Caesar Borgia, and all these Israelite camps and these Christian churches, they're all going to have blood on their hands, ultimately for not warning their flock of the motb and a proper breakdown. That's why a lot of Jake is going to get put to death. A lot of Jake is going to be reserved for the missiles, for being ignorant of Satan's devices, for listening to the wrong leader, following the wrong doctrine is going to lead a lot of Jake to get put to death. Because the motb, the proper breakdown is simple. It's the micro deceive. It's how this devil's going to present it. He's going to present it with incentives. He's going to offer a basic universal income. If you take this micro deceive, I'm going to give you, a couple $1,000s a month. And a lot of Jake is going to be the first one to be lined up for it. A lot of these other Israelite camps teaching false doctrines, these false prophets, and these Christian pastors, they're going to go tell their congregation to take it. They're going to tell their congregation, hey, God's not going to hate you if you take the micro deceive. And that's why a lot of Jake's going to get put to death, ultimately for being ignorant, for not taking heed to the true message of Yahweh Shemiah Shah that's being spoken about through his prophets. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 5 and verse 15, also known as Sirach in the Apocrypha. Be not ignorant of anything, a great matter or small. And that's right. We're not ignorant of everything that's going around the world. All the AI infrastructure is being set up. The majority of Jake is ignorant of what's going on. How AI is taking over the world. They think that it's just another revolution, but ultimately what they don't see is that this AI infrastructure being set up is leading to the motb system. Because how else is it going to be ran? The motb, the micro deceive, that's going to have all your information on it. That's going to have your driver's license, your social security number, your bank account, all your biometric system, your medical system. You're going to have your criminal record, if it's clean. You're going to have your social security, your social score number on there. But yet Jake is completely clueless to what's about to happen, completely ignorant. And then a lot of them, they're choosing to remain ignorant because in their mind they think that if they ignore it, then it's not going to come to pass. But that's how a lot of Jake's going to get caught off guard. They're going to get caught like a thief in the night. When their bank accounts get wiped out, when their social security that they've been accumulating their whole life gets wiped out, they're going to bug out and they're going to be crying out for a solution. And Esau Edom's going to offer that solution, which is going to be that motb, that micro deceive. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 24. For there shall arise false Mashiachs, false anointeds, and false prophets. And we're seeing that right now with all these different Israelite camp leaders, Israelite camps popping up, these Christian church pastors, completely not breaking down the scriptures wrong, not warning their flock of what's about to come up on the planet Earth, and shall show great signs and wonders, and so much that, if it were possible, that they shall deceive the very elect. And that's what these damn devils, these Edomites, Esau, Edom. You got Elon Musk with the Starlink. They're offering a solution for all the problems that they created, because a lot of people out here, they're disabled, they're blind, they might have lost their limbs in the war. And what this devil is going to do, he's going to provide a solution. He's going to be like, I can heal the sick through those left-handed miracles. And we're starting to see that now. You got people who were paraplegic, they couldn't walk anymore. They offered the micro C up in the head, the Neuralink, and now they can walk. You got people who can control a computer, based off the Neuralink, the micro C up in the head, and those are those left-handed miracles that the world isn't all about. But what this devil's doing right now, he's perfecting that micro C. He's gonna do away with the phones. He's gonna put the phone inside the micro C. You're gonna be able to see your phone or whatever it may be through your eyes, just like the Apple Vision Pro. That's what that was. It was a foreshadowing for what's about to come upon the planet Earth. A lot of Jake is gonna get deceived by the miracles on the left hand of this devil, because ultimately Yahweh Shemiah Shai is gonna have to put it up on the spirit of the elect and not take that micro C. The rest of the nation of Israel, the 2/3, and these heathens are going to take it, because they're going to be deceived by those miracles. This is Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 9. Stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. That's majority of the people out here, especially our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. 2/3 of the nation of Israel, they're gone. They're drunken with the philosophies of Babylon, the way of life here, going to work, working these 9-to-5s, working 50 years, then you retire, but you die before you even get to your retirement, to your pension. Caught up with the bread and circus, making their wife happy wife, happy life. When it's all bullshit. That's why a lot of Jake's gonna bow down to this system and take that motb. For not trusting in Yahweh Shemiah Shai, for trusting in a wicked and corrupted ass system that's fallen. But ultimately that was Yahweh Shemiah Shai put it upon the spirit of 2/3 of Jake did not receive his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's why a lot of Jake's gonna go down to each for help and take that motb. Verse 10, for the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes, the prophets and your rulers, your seers hath he covered. And that's right, ultimately it was Yahweh Shemiah Shai to put the spirit of deep sleep, deep slumber upon these other Israelite camp leaders teaching false doctrine, these Christian pastors, to not warn their flock of the motb, to not taking it, and what's gonna come with taking that motb, which is gonna be that nuclear fire, that second death. This is Sirach chapter 1 and verse 14. To fear the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb. And that's why we know not to take the motb, because ultimately the repercussions, the consequences are going to come with taking it. That second death would. And that's why we're giving diligence to make our calling and election sure to be preserved in the upcoming days from the upcoming destruction, because all hell is about to break loose, but Jake's still out here bullshitting, playing around, thinking that the motb, the micro C hip, isn't what it is, but they're going to have a rude awakening. This is Revelation chapter 16 and verse 1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and poured out the vials of wrath of the Most High upon the earth, and ultimately going into that destruction. Verse 2, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sword upon a man which had the mark of the beast and upon them which worship his image. So this is how you know that cuts all that is that the mark of the motb. It's spiritual. No, it says right here, a noisome and grievous sore, which that's going into a cancerous sore, which is going to be very evident to those who bow down the knee and take that motb. They're going to pus coming out. It's going to be nasty. So you're going to be able to tell who took that motb in the upcoming days. That's why a lot of these other Israelite camps, they don't go into the breakdown. They don't go into the word mark, which is charagma, which means an incision. That's how this devil's going to put the micro-seed of a majority of the people out here. This is Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try to them dwell upon the earth. So everybody upon the planet Earth is going to go through the hour of temptation. But ultimately, the elect will be kept from taking a micro-seed, because Yahweh Bashmiel Shai is going to keep his elect from not bound down the knee to the devil. That's what it's going to take. Or it's going to take the spirit of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai to be in you, to not bow the knee. The majority of Jake are the 2/3, and these heathens, they're going to be through. They're going to bow down the knee and take that motb. They're going to be deceived. That's pretty much the point. I pray this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from the well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the 1/3, the large multitude. Until I say shalom.